Evenly thought the worst thing about her boyfriend's house was the cold basement. But then she saw what was hiding under my boyfriend's bed. This is the true story of a girl named Evelyn. The first night Evelyn stayed at Lucas's house, she barely noticed anything odd about the basement. A little cold, too quiet for comfort. But that was expected. Lucas lived with his grandmother in a house that had been built sometime in the 1940s. The basement had been converted into a cozy bedroom with thick rugs and low ceilings, filled with furniture that seemed a little too still. The kind that creaked even when no one was touching it. It was the third time she spent the night there that things began to feel different. That evening, they had argued. A small disagreement that escalated over nothing. Something about trust and tone and too many unsaid things. Tired and frustrated, Evelyn retreated into the basement before Lucas. She curled up on the edge of the bed beneath a blanket that smelled faintly like cedar and something older, and closed her eyes. The walls made noises as they settled. A soft pop, a sigh, then silence. Lucas came down half an hour later. She felt the mattress shift as he climbed in behind her. He didn't speak. Neither did she. The air between them was tense, yet heavy, as if it carried something neither of them could name. She fell asleep first. The first dream wasn't worth remembering. Just shadows, maybe running. But it was the second that stayed. In the dream, though it felt more like being awake inside a body that wouldn't move, Evelyn found herself staring down at Lucas's stomach. She could feel her own body lying next to his, the warmth of him, the rhythm of his breath. But his skin looked wrong, too still, and on his abdomen, there were holes. 6 of them. They weren't wounds or scars. They were perfect circles, small, glowing, pulsing slightly as though breathing. Some were filled with soft, white light, like halos in a void. The others were black. Not just dark, but absorbing, pulling her into them. Each time her eyes landed on the white orbs, she felt a sense of soothe like floating underwater with no weight. But every time she looked at the black ones, her throat tightened. A knot formed in her gut. Something inside her recoiled and leaned forward at once. And still, she kept staring. She couldn't stop. It was as if the blackness called her name without sound, invited her into it, tempted her to surrender. The longer she stared, the more panic rose in her chest, irrational and paralyzing. Her vision blurred. Her stomach lurched. She shot up, gasping, body drenched in sweat. Lucas stirred. Evelyn. She couldn't speak. Her mouth was dry, her hands trembling. A pressure, like a static buzz, filled her ears. Then she saw it. Just beside the bed, on Lucas's side, a movement. A blurred, light brown figure. No face. No shape she could name. But distinctly female. Feminine not in appearance, but in presence. The way it moved. The way it lingered. It ducked beneath the bed, fluid and fast. Gone. She let out a dry, gasping sob. Lucas reached for her, confused, concerned. She couldn't explain what she saw right away. She could barely speak through the tightness in her throat. He brought her a glass of water, and as she drank, her hands trembled so hard that it spilled on her lap. The next morning, in the soft morning light that filtered through the tiny basement window, she told him everything. He didn't laugh. He didn't even look confused. Instead, Lucas nodded. "I've seen her too," he said quietly. "So has Caleb. My friend. She talks to me sometimes, when I get stuck in sleep paralysis." Evelyn stared at him, her heart a stone. "She says you're not who you seem," he added. "That you're trying to lead me away from God." Evelyn flinched. "What?" He shrugged, avoiding her gaze. "She says you're sent by something dark." It stung more than she expected. Evelyn had been the one to encourage Lucas to return to faith. She was the one who prayed over him when his nightmares got worse. The idea that something was feeding him in his most vulnerable state made her stomach twist. Lucas had stopped seeing the figure not long after that night. But Evelyn hadn't. It started slowly, a strange pull in mirrors, like someone else was standing just out of frame. The soft rattle of things falling off shelves, but never being found. Whispers just below hearing, always when she was alone. Then, one night in her apartment, she saw her again. Same blurred figure. Same oppressive, cold presence. The same sense of being watched by something ancient and cruel. She made the sign of the cross, barely thinking. The figure vanished. But Evelyn knew better. It hadn't left. Sometimes, the spirit would return, always in the early hours. Whenever she was alone, she never saw its face, but she knew it was the same one from Lucas's house. The same woman. Or thing. She started calling her Meredith, not knowing why. The name came into her mind one night while praying, like a whisper that didn't belong to her. She and Lucas began to drift apart. The arguments came back, sharper now. He no longer slept peacefully, but he didn't see her anymore. The spirit had changed homes, changed hosts. One of her friends, a girl named Talia from her volunteer group, gave her a bundle of white sage. My grandma says spirits can cling to people. Be careful, she warned. Evelyn kept the sage in her dresser drawer. A week later, it was gone. She tore the room apart looking for it. No one had been in the apartment. Nothing else was missing, only the sage. After that, the dreams got worse. In one, Meredith stood at the foot of the bed, her head cocked too far to one side. A blurred face, like looking at someone underwater. But Evelyn knew she was smiling. In another, she whispered in Evelyn's ear, "You'll never be enough. He knows what you are." Evelyn stopped sleeping through the night. Her skin broke out in hives. Her hair thinned. She stopped eating, stopped praying. It felt like nothing could keep the spirit away for long. It didn't just want to haunt her. It wanted to become part of her. She stopped staying at Lucas's house. And eventually, they broke up. But it didn't matter. Because Meredith stayed. Evelyn still sees her. Not every night, but often enough. Sometimes in the corner of her room, in that blind spot between the wall and the closet. Sometimes reflected in the screen of her phone when it's turned off. A smudge. A movement. Always watching. And always waiting. It's been nearly a year now. Evelyn no longer attends church. Doesn't pray, not out of spite. But because one night, she did. And the voice whispered in her ear, "Don't waste your breath." He stopped listening to the moment I arrived. And Evelyn believes her. Because when she screamed that night, loud and desperate and hoarse from crying, no one came. Not God. Not Lucas. Not even the silence. Just the soft creak of her bed frame. And the sound of someone breathing beneath it.